humid Cape Town, I must tell you. Sakina has dashed out to go and look at the fashion parade. For some reason, she thought she might be more knowledgeable about that than I. I have no idea why she decided on that. In the meantime, I managed to catch and stop. I'm very grateful that she's taken the time to speak to us. The Minister of Small Business Development, Lindiwe Zulu. Sorry, Ambassador Lindiwe Zulu. Minister, good morning, good afternoon to you, and thank you for your time.
Yes, good afternoon, and thank you for inviting myself as a Minister of Small Business Development.
I think this is the first time I'm going to start an interview with you about this issue about fashion. There's going to be a fashion parade outside. Yes. A lot of people will be wearing possibly the best threads that they have. Not everyone's going to be wearing stuff made and designed and made here in South Africa.
That's one of the things that I think my Department of Small Business Development is really trying to get through to South Africans in general about buying local and also supporting our local designers. It's very, very important. In fact, when I was hearing them speaking in the morning about the money that's being spent and everything, my mind immediately raced to who does that money go to, including the services that have to be given to Parliament. My view is that a lot of that money has to go to services provided, obviously, by small and medium enterprises. They're out there ready to take the opportunity.
I mean, fashion is something, if you just get a sort of nexus, a group of people, like you have in parts of Italy, for example, and have had for many years, if you can make something cool in New York and get people in New York to buy something from South Africa, you know, the dollars will flow in.
Oh, absolutely. In fact, this is the time for our small and medium enterprises, those that are in the fashion industry, to shine. And therefore, the call that I always make is to say to the ones who are purchasing, to the consumers who are your members of Parliament, your private sector, your civil society, all the people that are going to be strutting their stuff there, we would like to see them doing that in local designs. It's about supporting your small and medium enterprises, but it's also about supporting South African designers because they have what it takes. Many of them are already on platforms in New York and in England and in many other places, including the African continent. I am here wearing a South African designer myself.
I would not be surprised if you're about to launch a name and shame campaign for MPs who don't buy local.
I'd love to do that. If I can be able to do that, I would love to do that because at the end of the day, look, we're talking about creating jobs in South Africa. We are talking about improving our economy. How best do we do that other than ensuring that we support our local designers? And also it's about not just supporting your most popular designers. It's about people looking for designers within the areas where they live and ensuring that that design is double. It's firstly buying local, but it's also showing South African talent and the producers. Well, I know that there's still a big problem about the fabrics and the materials and all that. My daughter complains about that all the time. But the bottom line is that we are here as a department to also support that industry so that not only will it be local designers in design, the fabric also will be something that's manufactured in South Africa.
There's a whole textile industry to resuscitate. I'm sure your colleague Ibrahim Patel would have something to say about it. Can I ask about tonight's speech? Now, 7 o'clock, the President's going to stand up. Various things on the agenda. We all know that South Africa is, I think, a difficult country to govern for various reasons. You've got some expectations, I'm sure. You'll know a lot more than I will. I'm sure you could share a secret or two.
Absolutely. The fact of the matter is that there must be consistency here. Remember that we're coming from the ANC Lekgotla, which then gives guidance as to which direction we need to go. Immediately after that, we had cabinet. So we do have at least an idea of where the focus of the president is supposed to be. But the president cannot focus on what he thinks and what other people think. He focuses on what the people of South Africa need. And therefore, the issue of jobs, the issue of unemployment, the issue of inequality, the issue of growing our economy is something that stands out for most South Africans. And I'm sure that having gone through the processes that I've just spoken about here, we'll be ready to hear what the president has to say. And of course, it's going to be exciting. It is a South African parliament. You've got others that come in with one agenda or the other. All we can say as South Africans is that we are closing almost the 5th administration, moving on to the 6th administration. What happened in the previous administrations throughout are going to be very good lessons to us in starting the 6th administration as we're going soon to elections.
Okay, so So what you're suggesting is tomorrow's headlines are going to be about jobs announcements and the economy in tonight's speech.
Absolutely. It's the economy. How do we grow it? It's investment. How do we bring investors to South Africa? It's about the jobs. Where are the jobs? How are we going to create the jobs? It's about young people. It's about education. And I know you can see that there's been some disturbances that are happening, which are very unfortunate. But those are the issues that the president is going to be responding to, the needs of South Africans overall.
I think many people would say that Escom is one of the big issues that's got to be sorted out. I mean, presumably there's going to be some kind of announcement tonight about Escom.
Absolutely, there's got to be an announcement. The South Africans are waiting to hear what we're going to do in as far as Escom is concerned. There have been words that have been thrown around, unbundling and this and that. The president is going to spell out specifically what the plans are going to be to make sure that Escom becomes a service that responds also to the needs of the people. But here's another issue here. I think the president will also have to speak about all of us, our responsibilities, because we are a nation in the making. We all have different responsibilities, government, private sector, citizens themselves, they also have to take responsibility.
He's going to tell us to use less power tonight, isn't he?
No.
When you put it like that?
No. It's not about that. It's about all of us as South Africans committing ourselves to building a better nation. And that's got nothing to do with anything else other than to say, firstly, you'll hold us accountable as government. Secondly, we have to deliver on our promises as government. But thirdly, citizens also need to take responsibility in the areas where they are.
Okay, let's talk about small businesses. I mean, that is your sort of area of expertise, your area of political competence. Small businesses, we know, create jobs. I mean, some people say big businesses create more jobs. There's a bit of an argument there. Are you expecting more support for small businesses? Are you expecting life to get a little easier for them to hire people?
Absolutely. Actually, the president himself has very much been welcoming to the existence and the creation of a Department of Small Business Development to focus on supporting small and medium enterprises. We now know what major challenges are for small and medium enterprises: regulatory environment, creating a conducive environment for them having access to markets, because it's one thing to support your small businesses and then you have a whole range of others who are blocking the opportunity. So I've also heard, as a Minister of Small Business Development, I've had a very good support by all the ministers in President Cyril Ramaphosa's cabinet. Everybody understands, appreciates the importance of small and medium enterprises, and therefore appreciates the fact that SMMEs need to be supported. We have to just upscale the support that we need to give to them.
You mentioned the word disruption. I mean, generally speaking, there are very few people who seem to want disruption. There is a constituency that might like that. Are you expecting any disruption? We have had I don't know if the right word is a threat, but a promise to turn it into a Q&A session?
Well, that's what we have seen in the South African Parliament in the past few years. There's good elements of it, but there's other bad elements of it. And I think that Parliament itself would be ready for anyone, because we've got rules, by the way. We need to make sure that the rules are implemented. But more than anything else, we need to also try the best we can to keep the decorum, because South Africans are probably getting tired of that. They just want to see us as parliamentarians focusing on the mandates that we have, whether we are ANC or we're DA or PAC or anybody else. South Africans want us to be very serious about the challenge that stands in front of us. But besides, if there's any disruption, I'm 100% sure that Parliament will be up to it.
Minister, thank you so much for joining us. I really do appreciate it. I hope you enjoy the event, and I hope we get to talk to you afterwards.
Thank you.
That is Minister Lindiwe Zulu, Ambassador Lindiwe Zulu, who is the Minister of Small Business Development. Plenty happening around the parliamentary precinct, I can tell you. Bulelani Phillip is taking it all in on the red